Good morning, everybody. I'm here with my favorite psychic medium, Liz Cross, and we're here to bring you a very fascinating probe, I hope. How are you doing this morning, Liz?
I feel very privileged that I'm your favorite.
Of course, of course. So we are going to do a video on Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, which disappeared, I believe, in 2014. If I have the year right, forgive me if I don't have all the facts right. It's kind of a last-minute probe here, but it's very, very, very interesting. So for all of you that don't know, it took off late in the evening from Malaysia, and then it disappeared at like 2:30 a.m. No wreckage was ever found. It disappeared. It's been a complete mystery. Now, in the past, I don't know how long this has been, but there were several videos. Actually, there was one video that was released to YouTube anonymously, and it seems to show, I have it on my screen here. This is a still frame from it. We can't play the full video, unfortunately. However, you can go to band.video.com and you can watch, you can look for this Malaysia Flight 330 from the Reese report if you want to look at the video yourself. So we're looking at still frames here. There's two, and they're actually from two different angles. And this is a stereoscopic image from a satellite with a plane that is claimed to be that missing flight, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. So can you tune into this plane and see if this is a plane that was in the air that evening?
Okay, and what was the date again?
That is a good. That's
I mean,
good question.
if we're gonna do like remote viewing, so we gotta have exact details.
Well, let me look it up. So, okay, so the video was uploaded originally in March 12th, 2014. So
Okay.
this would have happened before that.
That's okay. I'm also looking date. 8th of March, 2014.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to, there we go. Now, I take it we don't know what time zone this is in.
Well, it's in Malaysia. So
okay.
I don't know. We can look up the Malaysian time zone here.
See, now people that are listening in, they're learning a little bit about remote viewing. And one thing you have to do is you have to have, date, time, or rough time zone, very important, and location. And if you don't have these things, there's going to be discrepancies in your viewing. Okay. This is like rule 101 of remote viewing. So while Mr. Photon is looking that up, what you do is you have a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper when you start your remote viewing session, and you have to have your name, the date, the time zone, location, where you are. Okay. And then sort of halfway down your piece of paper, you put in your double blind target. Now, I don't have to do double blind target. Ingo Swan didn't do double blind targets.
Oh,
I mean,
that's a good point. I forgot to bring in our panel. Actually, what's really funny is I was going to bring in Ingo Swan.
No,
you read my mind, Liz.
I must be psychic.
Yeah.
Wow, you're bringing in Ingo Swan. So,
oh yeah, he is the OG of remote viewing. I mean, he's one of the most powerful psychics of our time, for sure. I can't believe I haven't brought him in yet. I think he's going to be someone that I'd like to bring in more in the future.
Excellent. Well, I have channeled Ingo many times, and I actually was using him for when I first started out trying to predict trades. I was doing the Forex market with my friend Igor out in Oh God, where is he now? Igor, don't kill me. He's out in I think he's in Czech Republic, maybe. I can't remember. But Igor is very great. He's a great guy. Anyway, Ingo Swan, we were trying different methods of trying to predict the markets, and I would channel Ingo and say, okay, is this going to go 40 pips in the up direction or 40 pips in the down direction? And I learned, for whatever reason, I didn't explore it, but Ingo was actually wrong at doing these predictions. So it's not Ingo's fault that the answers were wrong. There was something in remote viewing that was not right. But that was back in that was years and years and years ago when I first started trying to do predictions. Okay, so
Right.
I have Ingo Swan here.
Okay, and I also have, I believe, the Malaysian time zone for Kuala Lumpur, which is where it took off from. It's UTC GMT, and it says no daylight savings time in 2023, so I don't know if they do that there at all.
Okay, so it's 8 hours plus GMT. Okay, so and the time zone is Malaysia time. Okay. All right, so that gives us enough to go on. We've got the date, we got the time, we got the time zone roughly. That should be sufficient.
Yeah.
Okay, so where is this? This is
So this event occurred basically in that area around Kuala Lumpur. They basically, so the story goes is they took off in the evening. And then somewhere off the coast, like I think heading east, they may have lost contact. And so we have actually eyewitness reports, actually first from an oil field that there was a plane on fire. And then we had another eyewitness reports from a boat that seen this plane glowing orange and actually turning directions. So it actually turned direction to go make an emergency landing, they're assuming. And the glowing, it makes sense for a plane on fire because they actually have something to release that makes it luminescent to like kill the fire. And also, losing contact when you're on fire is not uncommon because they have to like kill circuits in order to like, if it's like something like an electrical fire. So they would have been out of contact. And then after that last sighting on the boat, that's when everything went dark, and they lost like cell phone ping from the the phones online. There was nobody could see it, nobody found any wreckage. It just absolutely disappeared after that. Now these two side-by-side photos that we're looking at, this is actually from a United States signals intelligence satellite in orbit, and it's what it does is it actually gives you two different angles to make a 3D stereoscopic image. So it's pretty advanced technology. And the person that I'm getting this information from, Ashton Forbes, he's actually figured out that these Navy UAP satellites were actually in orbit, like over that area that night when the plane disappeared. So that seems to match up in terms of those satellites being in the area to be able to take these photos at that time. So the question is, though, is this plane Malaysia Airlines Flight 370?
Is this plane Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? No.
Was this plane in the air at that night that we're looking at?
Was this that we are looking at? Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so this is a real plane that we're looking at here. This is real footage.
Is this real footage? Yes, it is.
Okay, that's the most important thing, because there's a lot of videos out there trying to debunk this. Actually, interestingly enough, there is someone right now that is offering, I believe, $125,000 US bounty on someone that can debunk this video. And so far, nobody has claimed to.
Well, hey, send it in, Photon. Send it in. Merry Christmas.
No, we're not debunking it though. Well, I mean, I guess we kind of are, because it's not Malaysia, right? But it is a real video. I think what they're going for is that if you can prove that this is Photoshop or manipulated by a computer, that's what the bounty is for.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, That's beyond my bandwidth.
Well,
Okay.
you've confirmed that this is a real plane and this is real footage. So that would not allow us to claim the bounty, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So, okay, so then I want to ask, like, is this a passenger plane with, passengers on it?
This is a passenger plane with passengers on it. Well, that are there passengers on the plane? There's 2 passengers on that plane.
2 passengers.
Apart from the pilot, yes.
Okay. Okay, and is this a large, like, jetliner?
No.
How big is this plane?
How big is this plane? It's is it small? It's quite small. Is it
Like
what
a
is
private jet?
is it a private jet? It's a commercial,
Okay.
right? So hold on. Are you saying it's a commercial? It's commercial as in it transports things.
Okay, so it's more of like a cargo plane, perhaps?
Is it a cargo plane? Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. So for those that have not watched this video, I'm sorry we can't play it for you. If you squint real hard, you're gonna see 3 orbs there. It's almost like forming a triangle on our screen. Can you make that out, Liz? With your eye?
Yes, I see. It is a triangle. It's kind of like the plane is in the center of it.
Correct. And when you play the video, they actually revolve around the plane in sync.
Oh.
And they actually, as the video goes on, they change their orientation, but keep their formation so that it's like going from the side of it, then going from top to bottom. And then it looks like it speeds up and then the plane disappears in a big white flash that looks like almost like an oval shaped flash. And then there's a hole in the clouds and it's completely disappeared. Now
I'll pause the video if you want to
show
give us
you
that moment there. Okay, let
Yeah.
me pause it. Okay, so we are at the point of where this plane explodes.
I don't think it's exploding. I think it's a flash and then it disappears. I mean, an explosion, you would see wreckage going everywhere. It looks like what happened is you can actually almost see like a faint kind of like trail behind where it left, leading up to that big wet. I don't know, people might not be able to notice this, but on the right side of the frame, there's a cloud, and to the top of it, let me get my mouse. This is where the plane turned into a big flash of light, and in the next frame it completely disappears and it leaves a hole in this cloud behind it. And this is kind of the trail of its path where it took. So the orbs and the plane disappeared, and leading up to this point, the plane was traveling along this flight line and we saw the orbs circling around the plane and they seemed to change orientation, and then boom, what big flash of light, and then this disappears. Everything just disappears.
The reason we had to pause it and get to this point is because you're not allowed to play videos within a video on YouTube. If people do that, I don't know how they get away with it. We did it one time, not knowing that we were not allowed to, and we got in trouble. So that's why we had to pause the video and get to this frame. But of course, like Mr. Photon says, if you want to watch it, you can.
Yeah, you can go to the reesereport.com is where the person that created this video, and there's a bunch of different links there, and it's the latest video. It's called Malaysia Airlines Flight 37 something or other, 370, but you'll see it on there.
Okay, great. Thank you. And so did this plane disappear? No. Did this plane go into some sort of time capsule, some sort of time dimension? It went through something. It went through some sort of hole.
So I'll tell you what the speculation is. You can shoot it down or not, but the speculation is that this is teleportation technology.
Is this teleportation? Yes, it is.
Okay. So the speculation also is that, well, we don't know that we've confirmed that it's not Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, but oddly enough, on the actual Malaysia Airlines there was a number of individuals that were passengers that were all involved in the superconductor industry. And the superconductor industry may or may not be involved with, this technology of teleportation that is classified by the US government.
Okay.
So is there any truth to that, where I guess I want to ask before we go into the teleportation thing, like was this related in any way to Malaysia Airlines for Flight 370? I mean, we know it happened in the same night.
Was it related at all? I mean, yeah, okay, let's break that question down.
Yeah.
Was this directly linked with MH370? No. Okay. Now, this is very interesting to me. And those of you that have been following me for a long time, you will have heard me talk about my encounters with Sasquatch. Okay. Back in the day, before Liz was on YouTube, Liz was out hunting Sasquatch. Why, Liz? Well, because we had over 300 sightings in an area that is really close to where I live, including some of my friends, my high school friends, that also had sightings. And there's something about orbs and teleportation. And the reason I know that is because every time we had a Sasquatch encounter, we would always see the orbs first. Now, one of my high school friends, there's a cave system at the back of his property. He lives on a farm. And he has a farm. It's like a good I don't know how many 100 acres. Say 300 for lack of a better measurement. And he's also a musician. So he has children and he regularly sits on his porch, and at night, and while his kids, so he doesn't wake his kids up, and he's playing his guitar. And he often sees these Sasquatch walking right past his house. Well, one night, I guess maybe they had a couple of drinks, he and a couple of his cousins, I believe, and they saw this Sasquatch. First of all, they see the orbs, then they see Sasquatch. They jumped off the porch and they chased it, right? But I don't know why. Like, I would be scared to death to do that because these things are not warm and fuzzy. And they cornered it by the fence on the farm. And I think they had a gun. I mean, they weren't going to shoot it, right? They're not those kind of people. But then this thing just, same thing, that flash, and it disappeared. There's something about these orbs and teleportation.
All right, well, let's dive deeper into this. Can you zoom, or sorry, can you tune into those orbs? What are those? Are those physical metal objects, or are they energy?
Are you physical metal objects? They're energy. They're energy weapons. I'm like, why are you energy weapons? And they're saying because why do you call them so? Why do you call yourselves energy weapons? That's the job we're supposed to do.
So they were created as weapons.
Were you created as weapons? No. They weren't created as weapons, but they're used as weapons.
Okay. All right. And so these balls of energy, where are they? Where are they? Like, how are they projected? Or where's is it a ground-based technology, or satellite technology?
Are you satellite technology? No. Are you ground-based earth plane technology? No. No, this is alien technology.
Oh, okay. And so this is under the control of human beings?
No.
Oh, okay. So
now we've opened up a whole can of worms. Yeah.
Well, now, yeah, this is a more can of worms because, okay, first of all, everybody assumed when these videos came out, oh, it's aliens, right? However, we haven't even showed you the second video yet. There's a second video here. So this video, it seems to come from a US Navy satellite. Can we confirm that?
Did this video come from a US Navy satellite? No, it's not a US Navy satellite. Is it a US military satellite? No. Is it a Malaysian military satellite? No. Where
China.
is this? Is this China? No. This is Russian.
Oh, interesting. The plot thickens, so nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. Interesting. Okay. All right. And so we haven't got to the second video yet, but we will. And there's it's supposedly a drone video from a completely different angle using thermal vision. So my point is that somebody knew this was going to happen or was tipped off to this on the human side. And they were looking at this event that happened in real time. And you're saying that this was obviously alien technology from extraterrestrials or dimensional beings. So therefore, they're working together or they were tipped off somehow that this was going to happen. So that's why I'm saying plot thickens.
Were you working in? I'm asking the Orbs. Were you working in conjunction with humans? No, they worked independently.
So how did the Russian satellite know, or the Russian whoever know how to point their satellites at this event in real time?
That was luck of the draw.
Really? So whenever I hear luck of the draw, I'm like, oh, was it meant to happen? Was it destiny? Was it like part of some higher plan?
Was that part of a higher? Yes, obviously that is part of a higher plan. Yes, it's about bringing into, our awareness. But is this a source higher plan? I mean, ultimately, it's all contracted in. That brings about a good question. Okay, I got to ask this question. As humans and as souls, we create contracts with millions and gazillions of things going on, even things that we are not first party witness to, meaning we're actually standing at the event. Just even watching an event on TV or a video or hearing about an event, that's still all contracted in. Okay. All of the people listening here today or in the future, all of the people listening to this video, that's all contracted in, right? It all is. Me and you doing this video, contracted in. Okay. How do aliens fit within the soul contracts? Are they actually contracted into? No, they're not. So then we have to ask,
can they interfere?
Yeah. Who is this, or how do they interfere? Can they interfere? They do interfere. How are they able to mathematically bust through all the layers of the universe to get this on video? Did they know? I mean, do they have the same sort of knowledge that Source has? And what I'm getting is their knowledge is even greater than Source knowledge. So how did they manage to be in the right place at the right time? How did they have predictors, or how are they able to predict, like, to get on the video? They have access to all information, is what I'm getting.
They knew that satellite was going to be looking in that area for whatever reason. Maybe it was the satellite originally just following the plane, the cargo plane?
Was the satellite originally just following the cargo plane? No. Let's ask this. Did the alien technology manipulate the satellite to follow the cargo plane? That's a strong possibility. So were they able to manipulate it, that is on footage, and then it would be released to us, many years down the line? Yes. So they're interfering with the soul contracts.
Right, because they want to be in our consciousness in order to. So we've all, if you've been paying attention, I mean, it's all like, it seems to be that this is all coming out in the mainstream now. I mean, I've been following this stuff before it was mainstream and you were crazy to believe in it. but now it's on the news. It's a constant thing. There's videos being released all the time. We're being normalized to this sort of stuff. And so, you know, as we viewed in previous videos, the intentions on the extraterrestrial side is not benevolent as far as we can tell, and they're trying to get close to us so that we accept them more and are not scared of them. So this is, you know, probably part of their plan, it looks like, to get us more normalized to this stuff and have it released to the public.
Well, because ultimately, this is going to be very unpopular, but I've said this many times before. Ultimately, they want to hijack your consciousness and you know, your soul over to the dark side. I mean, they work for the dark. I don't care if they say, oh, there's good aliens and there's bad aliens. Ultimately, they're all following an agenda. They're all working for the dark side. Now, does that mean that just like humans, there's some humans that are, you know, a lot better than other humans? There are, you know, aliens that are better than other aliens. Maybe they're not as forceful in their agenda, but they're still created with an agenda in mind, just like we are created with an agenda in mind.
Sure, we have our own interests and values. I'm sure they.
Well, Source created us for an agenda, right?
Sure. So I actually, not to go too far off on this video on that topic, I actually do want to do, it's probably going to be a you know, a 2 or 3 or 4 parter and just dive into that topic because I want to get to the bottom more of that, because I know it is a very controversial thing to say in that community that, oh, they're all bad or they're all good or whatever. You take a side, it's like a side that you take or whatever. And I want to dig down more onto that in another video series. I think it's going to take a while to do that. So I got a lot of questions.
What gets me is how these orbs are, you know, invisible at one moment and then they present themselves at another moment and then they disappear again. That's always fascinated me.
So I think we're going to stop this one and have a part 2. Okay. Because we want to, there's a lot more to cover here. We still haven't got to the second video, and we obviously want to find out what happens with the passengers. So stay tuned. We're going to do a part 2 here. We're just going to stop it right here.
All right. This is cool. I like this. And you totally sprang this on me today. I had no idea this was coming.
Oh, I didn't even know. Somebody sprung it on me. So.
Those are always the best videos. All right, here we go. I'll stop it.